Hi, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. This card is a mini golf card, which is created in celebration of National Mini Golf Day, which is on September 21st, which also happens to be my birthday. So this holiday, actually, I'll talk about a little bit more during the excessive stamping of the grass on the background. So what I'm doing here is I'm using my Electro Pop Screamin' Green ink on my green mini slimline card background to make what looks like grass. If I were to purchase a supply to do this, I would get a stencil, which would probably make it a lot faster. I'd still probably use the same ink because the color combination was fantastic, but it takes me a really long time here. So I'll talk about this holiday and the hop I'm doing on Instagram. So this card was created for the September Wacky Holidays hop on Instagram, and I will have information linking below in my description box talking about if you want to come join it on Instagram, you can. I chose Mini Golf Day because, well, it happens to be on my birthday, and I do love some mini golf. My birthday is September 21st. And so the history of this holiday is that it dates back to the 19th century and was created in Victorian Scotland to allow women to play golf because apparently at the time it was considered unladylike for a woman to raise a golf club above their shoulder. Who would have thought that that would be something that would be unladylike? But I guess we learn something new every day. But now, as we all know, mini golf is now enjoyed worldwide by men, women, and children. So here I am, painstakingly stamping all the grass on the background for this card, and I keep inking it up, stamping it down. I will say having the MISTI makes it very, very helpful because even though I wasn't 100% sure when I started how far up I should move the background, even going back and filling in those gaps, like you can see at the very top I missed a spot and stuff. Filling those spots in was very easy because I had the MISTI. Yeah, I'm glad I was able to find something in my stash that replicated grass because otherwise I probably would have drawn it with a Sharpie, and that would have taken a really long time too. But here we go. Here's the background. And I'm still stamping, moving it up like less than a quarter of an inch each time because this stamp that isn't really grass isn't, it doesn't cover much ground at one time. Actually, now that I think about it, doing it with a pen might have been less time than I'm taking here to stamp and move and stamp and move. But it looks like we're nearing the finish line here. And I just move it a teeny tiny bit every time. But yeah, I was really excited about this idea when I Googled all the wacky holidays in September, and I was like, what should I pick? And I found this one, and I was like, I love some mini golf, and also, why not pick one that's on my birthday? Y'all, I'm going to be 40. That's crazy to me, because I don't feel like I'm 40. But here we go, moving on. I have this paper pack from scrapbook.com, which they actually gave me in a giveaway that I won on their Instagram page, so yay for me. I picked out two colors because I know mini golf is usually very bright colors. And this, I cut both of the papers into squares, the red and the blue. All my dimensions are in the very first, my little plan paper. And then this I just eyeballed to cut that into like looking sort of like a windmill thing. I just eyeballed it. And then what I did to make sure that it was even on both sides was I took the piece that I cut off the first time and I put it on top of the other piece and just made sure that I was in the right spot. And there I was lining up my pieces to make sure that they were both the same, and they were. So there we go. And then this piece, this is how I made my windmill blades. If I were to buy something else or have something else, I would not use a punch. I would use square dies to do this. But I just kind of like, you can see I'm lining up the punch so that it's even. It's going to be even because I'm putting the paper to the edge of the square punch. I had to get resourceful here, y'all. I wanted it to be perfectly even, and I knew that if I tried to cut it with scissors, it wouldn't be even. It would look like a 3-year-old made it. So this is what I chose to do. And it turned out pretty well. It kind of took me a minute to make sure I was in the right spot and everything, but I think the end result turned out pretty well, looking like windmill blades for a mini golf. I don't know, windmill? And then this grommet setter, I have had this for a long time. I'm sure I've used it to fix belts or something like that. I got it at like the hardware store, probably for like $2 back in the day. And then what I'm doing here is I'm just kind of trying to line it up because I want the windmill blades to go to the bottom of the windmill house thing and cover up, like kind of like how, mini golf is. When the windmill blades are moving, you might not get your ball in there if you go in the wrong spot. So I wanted to make sure that everything was lining up properly, that the blades weren't going to go over the top of the card and everything like that. So I had to make sure everything was going to fit properly. And I just put the grommet in there. Is that even what those are called? I don't know. Maybe it's a grommet, sure. But I put it in there, and then I used the grommet setter to set it in there. I do have a different thing that was designed for crafting to set grommets, but you have to use a hammer with it, and my kids were sleeping, so this was a much quieter option, so that I did not wake them, because nobody wants an awake 3-year-old at 10 p.m. So yeah, I just put it in there, squished it, set the grommet, and then to make sure that it was going to be on the windmill house where I figured that center was, I took it, and then I got a pen, once I figured out that that's where I wanted it, and I set it on the card to make sure it was not going to be over the top of the card. I took a pen and I drew a little tiny circle in there so I knew where to punch the hole for the grommet that needed to go into the windmill house. And that's just a regular hole punch, like an office supply hole punch that works for these grommets. And then I'm going to set this grommet in there. I don't know if I could have done this without the second grommet in the house, but I figured I had it, and I didn't want it I want it to be a functioning windmill so you could play with it, so it could be an interactive card. And so that is why I am doing it this way. And I think I actually know who I'm going to send this card out. My uncle's turning 65, like a week before my birthday, and my aunt is trying to get a whole bunch of cards for him, so I think I'm going to send this one to him because, who doesn't love some mini golf? I'm sure he took us mini golfing when we were kids. So there I am getting my functioning windmill going on. The brad thing that I used is honestly just a office supply one. I have decorative ones for paper crafting. The reason I chose this one was because the tabs on it were longer, and I just wanted to make sure that it would stay secure because it was bigger than, probably crafting stuff would be. I'm putting double-sided adhesive on the back of the windmill house, and then I'm going to line it up and make sure it's in a decent position and squish it down. And then here I am making the ball. Of course, everybody knows that mini golf balls are not white, they're pretty colors. And my favorite color is pink, so I chose to use a piece of pink paper. And this folder was the closest one that I thought looked like a golf ball, kind of. Gina K has a folder that probably would look a lot more like a golf ball dots, but I didn't buy anything to make this card. So I put foam dots on and actually I used the embossing folder and I flipped it over so that the dots would be indented like a golf ball. And then I put foam tape on it, and there we have it. It's a mini golf card. And then I'm making my card base. I decided that a neutral, not a white, but just a neutral, like tan. I don't even know where this cardstock came from, but tan piece of paper for the background. And here I am lining it all up, and I'm like, ooh, what am I going to do for a sentiment? And then I find this Celebrate stamp, and it fits perfectly at the bottom. But I have to make sure it's not going to like go over the edges of my mini slimline card, and I'm going to stamp it in VersaFine Onyx black ink, which is like the most amazing ink for detail that I've found so far. And there we have it. Now I just need to glue the background on to my card base. And perfection. Look at that. And look how fun it is. It works. It's an actual fun working windmill. And oops, I forgot to take the sound off this video. But there's my windmill. This was so much fun to make. Thank you so much for watching, and here are some videos that you may enjoy watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Have a great day.